Hey everyone, it's Amanda Rodriguez here at Turnaround with Alex Van Dress, our incredible regional navigator, to talk about our anti-trafficking services. On this last day of Human Trafficking Awareness Month, we thought that we would just take a minute and share a live with you and talk to you about what we're doing and ways that you can continue to engage with us, especially around our human trafficking services. Turnaround has been providing comprehensive human trafficking services since 2011. We were one of the first in the state to provide this type of care and support for our community. And I am so proud of the work that our staff did and continues to do to support human trafficking survivors. Alex, I would love to hear from you about how you see your work here at Turnaround and also some of the awesome things that we're doing to continue to engage our community.
Yeah, absolutely. So an estimated 40.3 million people are believed to be in slavery worldwide. And we at Turnaround are really dedicated to believing survivors, empowering survivors, and really helping them to get connected to resources that can assist them in their journey. So this is incredibly important here at Turnaround. We work with survivors of all ages who are affected by human trafficking. And we, like Amanda said, provide comprehensive services that include mental health resources, case management. Our goal is to really just be there for somebody in their basic needs. So they can meet with a case manager, they can sit down and say, this is what my needs are, and someone can actively work with them towards their goals, towards what they're wanting to do in life, so that they feel like they have stability. This year, we've also partnered with the Red Sand Project to bring awareness to human trafficking. It's a really great project. We've done it with them in the past as well. And by joining this movement to end human trafficking, we can help by questioning, connecting, and taking action against all of the vulnerabilities that lead to human trafficking and exploitation. So we're inviting you to really participate in this event. The Charleston Office of Turnaround has red sand that you can pick up. So it looks a little like this. And you can fill a sidewalk crack with sand, share a photograph on social media, use the hashtag Red Sand Project or Turnaround's exclusive hashtag I Get It, while also tagging Turnaround to be able to show your support. So I know that it doesn't seem much, but the simple act of placing sand in a crack or posting a photo on social media, it really can build upon each other. These small actions can allow us to make transformational change, and we hope that you will join Turnaround as we work really just tirelessly to try and bring awareness to human trafficking and partner with all these wonderful organizations that are also doing the same.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love the Red Sand Project. It is such a demonstrative way of showing support for human trafficking survivors, Alex. And I love that you're, organizing that within Turnaround. So thank you so much for you and for the work that you do.
Yes, they're great. They're such an awesome way. It's a pretty art installation as well, and it gets people questioning. So if you put it on a street sidewalk, you're gonna probably Google it if you don't know what it is, and you'll figure it out. And that's what we're doing. We're trying to bring more people to understand what happens and how all of this stuff can lead to trafficking, and what we can personally do to really try and make our world a little bit of a better and a safer place for everyone.
That's awesome. So I'd love to talk a little bit about the title that you see on Alex's name, and then also that connection to safe harbor legislation, which is something that Turnaround is also actively working on this year. So Alex is our regional navigator. And Alex, I don't want to put you on the spot, but would you mind talking a little bit about your work specifically here at the agency?
Yeah, absolutely. So here at the agency, well, like I said earlier, Turnaround works with all age groups, but my particular role really targets a certain population. So I work with individuals up to the age of 24 who are suspected or confirmed to be in a situation of trafficking. We know that trafficking can happen in any situation, yes, but there's definitely vulnerabilities that allow this to happen. And it definitely happens to youth. And so this is a really targeted role, I would say, in what I do to try and make sure that these individuals get that support before they become even further into the situation of trafficking. So trying to identify, trying to give them psychoeducation, work on goals, get them connected to various organizations within their community so they feel like they have support, while also making sure that, they feel heard. They're able to kind of speak about what's going on without feeling any judgment. And that's so incredibly important. And what they've gone through is so incredibly traumatic. So making sure that they also feel empowered to make decisions. So that's really just a valuable part of my job, and one that I absolutely love is giving back a voice to these individuals.
Oh, what a great way of encapsulating it. So the Regional Navigator program that Alex works under is actually based out of a piece of legislation that I had the privilege of working on several years ago with the incredible Senator Susan Lee and the absolutely, I don't even know the word to describe her, just selfless and incredible public servant, Delegate Brooke Learman. And so these two women came together, and after 5 years of a safe harbor working group in the state, decided to put forward legislation that did two things. One is it ensured that children were to get into services directly, as opposed to a criminalization or a juvenile justice response. And then on the other hand, it created the Regional Navigator program. That was called the Child Sex Trafficking Screening and Services Act. And it didn't pass completely. There's still a piece of that bill that still needs to get passed, but Alex's position and her role at Turnaround came out of the Regional Navigator program that was based in that bill. So this year, Turnaround is working alongside Senator Lee and Delegate Learman again to try to work towards legislation that would, again, deal with that first piece, that criminal justice is not the right response for child victims of trafficking. And so just to think about that for a moment, what happens to a child that is trafficked, or a child that has experienced trafficking? So if you imagine sitting across from a child that has experienced trafficking, what is it that you think that they're feeling? How would you describe them? What is that moment like for you? If you can literally just picture yourself sitting across from them, and what response do you think is the best for them? You know, I do this exercise when I train a lot, where we kind of talk through the importance of language. And so when we say a child that has experienced trafficking, what does that emote for you? What is that emotion that's coming across? Sometimes people use words like, when they're describing that child, of scared or traumatized. Sometimes they use words like emotionally scarred. And sometimes they use incredibly supportive words like strong, someone has overcome something that is incredibly difficult. When they think about themselves in that situation, often people really get emotional thinking about what their response would be to this child. And so when we come to these young people and the response is, we have to lock you up for your own good, which is often a response that we get from different people in the field, what does that say to that young person? Really, if that is the only response that we have failed that child. We have failed to provide them with a safe and a comprehensive way to heal. And the fact that they're in that trafficking situation to begin with is something that we should all give ourselves pause about, right? Which is another important part of the Regional Navigator program, where you can work with high-risk youth. But also we start to think about, when we're sitting across from that actual child, what is it that we need to put into place to make sure that you are never in this situation again? And that is really what the safe harbor legislation does. It's, as a state policy, we say, we are going to respond better to child victims that have experienced trafficking. We are going to be responsive to their needs. And if that means we have to adapt current systems in place to make sure that that happens, then we're going to do everything that we can to make sure that we keep our children safe. The important part about trafficking that you have to remember is that a child, if they are engaging in any type of sex work, is automatically a victim of trafficking. And so the response should always, always, always be a victim service response. There should always be someone there that can help that young person in any way that they need help, to make sure that this is not something that happens again to them. And criminal justice response over and over again is just something that we know is not responsive to their needs. And so I'm really proud to continue to work on this piece of legislation. I think that it will ultimately really make a difference in our community and for our young people. And the thing to remember is that specifically with child sex trafficking victims, there is no other crime in which you can at the same time be both a victim and a criminal. There is not a single other crime where it could even happen. Right? And so it doesn't make any sense. You would never tell someone that's been assaulted more than once, maybe by different people, we're going to have to lock you up for your own good so that you don't get assaulted again. That is not the correct response for these kids. They need to know that they are going to be taken to a safe and reliable place to receive victim services. And so that is Safe Harbor. That is something that we are actively working on. I don't have a bill number yet. But overall, what we would ask is that you absolutely can get involved and support both the legislation that I just spoke about. You can absolutely continue to support making sure that the word gets out about human trafficking in your communities, which is something that is so vitally important. You can continue to connect with us. You can volunteer, you can donate. We would love to just hear from the community in terms of this type of service or human trafficking services and what it means to you that Turnaround continues to support in this way. You know, it is so easy to connect with us as an agency now, and I love that we are so much more in the public sphere. And so things like social media is a great way for you to continue to connect with us, both today at the very end of Human Trafficking Awareness Month and then going into the future. We absolutely love being connected to our community and really continue to thank you for your continued support of Turnaround. So please continue to connect. Please stay engaged and know that this is just one more day that we're providing services here in Baltimore. Thank you all so much for just sticking with us. And yeah, I hope to hear from you soon. And please, please, please connect with Alex about the Red Sand Project. We would love to see all of that come together in a really beautiful way to make sure that survivors know that they're supported.